And welcome back. 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. And boy, we've got a great topic to talk about this morning with Jennifer Green, who is PNC Wealth Management Director. And Jennifer, a pleasure to have you with us here this morning.
Thank you so much.
If you are not married, but you're even thinking about it, you need to hear this. And we're talking about 5 critical areas couples need to be aware of and explore and discuss before being hitched in the world of financial management. Tell us what they are.
Sure. Well, the first and foremost is communication. Sitting down very early on, having an open, honest discussion around your finances. It can be a hard discussion. It's uncomfortable. But having that financial inventory, very important.
It's better to do it before you're married because it's my understanding from literature I've read that finances, money management is one of the greatest concerns that couples have once they're married and is actually one of the leading causes of divorce. So it is something to think about beforehand and get used to doing that discussion. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 would be prioritization. So sitting down after you've had the inventory, you've talked about what student loans, credit cards, mortgages, also your assets, your investments and deposits. What are your priorities on paying them down? Before you walk down the aisle, you might be buying a house, saving for a car, starting your 401k in retirement. So how are you going to do that? Having those discussions and that prioritization, that game plan is critically important.
Good idea there. Number 3.
Number 3 would be decide who's the family CFO.
Ah, yes.
Who's going to pay the bills?
Yes.
Very important. So deciding early on whose is that strength. So who likes to do the bills? Who likes to write them out and pay them online? So important to decide. But what's even more important is having transparency. Even though one is paying the bills, if something should happen, that other partner needs to step up and pay those moving forward.
I've heard so many times about families who just one person does it in the family and then something happens to them and the other person has no clue what's going on. So that's good. All right, our next bit of advice.
Number 2, your future. Very important, very early on to decide what does retirement look like. Are both parties, do they have the same vision? So for example, we're working with a client who very early on in their 20s decided what their retirement would look like. And they started saving. They lived conservatively. They started saving every single month. And now in their 50s, they've been able to realize their dreams.
And lastly?
And lastly is having that, using the communication, deciding very early how to save those extra funds to have a rainy day fund. So for example, I was talking to my husband last night, and we've been married for a long time, and I couldn't even remember back when we started getting married, what discussions did we have about money? And he said, you know what? We decided very early on to save everything that we could, because if anything ever happened, we would have those funds to allow us financial freedom. And that over 16 years has really paid off.
Wow. Jennifer Green, thank you so much, PNC Wealth Management Director. Some great advice.
Thank you.
You young folks out there, listen to that, and you would be surprised at how important it becomes. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being with us this morning, and we'll be right back. It's 12 minutes after 8 o'clock.